Hey, what's up everyone? This is your boy Nino Gonzalez, Weather X45, and I would like to bring extreme updates and people who ask me questions that are really typically interesting, really good questions. Now, a lot of people are saying, why are we having a lot of rainstorms that hit in our area that has strong winds every day? And when we have a snowstorm, a snow weather event like Winter Storm Jonas, Winter Storm Pax that had winds. We get a blizzard, and then we get heavy rain, and then we get gale winds, and then we get small craft winds. Now, one reason is because in the Pacific Ocean we have what's known as a El Nino, and it's a very strong, extremely powerful, strong El Nino from the Pacific Ocean, which causes temperatures in our area to be not as cold. But we did had a very cold weather, which was on Valentine's Day. We had what was known as Super Cold Front Nolan, and Super Cold Front Nolan caused temperatures to go down below 5 degrees Fahrenheit. 5 degrees in my area. That's like instantly a perfect polar vortex that ever hit since 2014 of January. What an El Nino is, it's actually a Pacific storm that forms with rain and extreme thunderstorms, or you could call it like lightning. What forms those thunderstorms is basically warm ocean water that goes around like 85 degrees, which causes a lot of water vapor to go around to the atmosphere, which is from the troposphere. And what happens is we get a lot of condensation that forms into a cumulus. A cumulus is like a thunderstorm cloud that forms. And what happens is we start to get a cyclonic storm. Like I remember a long time ago, there was a New York ship, I think, or a New Jersey ship that they took in the North Atlantic Ocean. And what was so bad about that El Nino was it was so strong that it formed a lot of crazy weather formation from the Atlantic Ocean. And we had a very powerful windy storm that hit in the Atlantic Ocean. And the people who went to the coast from New York, I believe, or from New Jersey, they got hit hard by that storm that caused hurricane force winds over about almost 100 miles per hour. Imagine 100 miles per hour. Is it like back to Hurricane Sandy? Kind of, but it's a different formation. Basically, if you don't know what a gale wind is, a gale wind is actually a force of gusty winds that actually bring debris that's over 45 knots, and it's really bad for dusty areas, sand areas, also especially seawater, because it makes water get choppy, like the levels of seas. Last time we had a river flooding event due to that rainstorm that we had that was even powerful than Olympia. Basically, that El Nino caused a jet stream to get crushed into it with the El Nino, making the jet stream jump like crazy, and then we get a lot of wind that forms, and it starts forming and forming and forming and forming, and it gets stronger and stronger, and as it gets stronger, and as it gets stronger, and it gets stronger and stronger, and when it gets stronger, what happens is we start to get a lot of bands, a party of storms that hit in Midwest. Then we get a snowstorm that hits on Minnesota, Oklahoma, severe storms. And then we have a cold front that slams, and then we get a polar vortex that comes all of a sudden, making the jet stream zip around like a little, think of it like a roller coaster, for example. You see those scary roller coasters from the Six Red Flags? When you see it goes like that, and then when it goes like a loopy-loop, that's the same example of how the jet stream was acting like, according from the El Nino. A scientist, a meteorologist, which is known as Tom Jenks, he found out that the jet stream was dipping around like a little crazy roller coaster. And I learned it from research. That's why it's really important to make research, because research, you find everything new. It's really important. So do a lot of research. Now, what I was really saying is that the jet stream, as it got hit by El Nino, the jet stream made a little big ice cream dip cone, like a roller coaster, and then it started to go like this. And then to Australia, they were issuing severe storms. Like right now, in AccuWeather.com, there's a blizzard in Australia. A blizzard, an Arctic blizzard. And that is due to the pressure of the El Nino. It's so powerful that it makes the jet stream and weather changes go differently around the globe, which causes a really antidote to the North American area and the Australian area, especially South America. They had monsoon weather alerts because of rainstorms that hit. Also with Ireland, the United Kingdom, they had gusts of winds that were over 60 miles per hour to 70 miles per hour, hurricane force wind gusts. And that's the same thing with Rainstorm Olympia that hit here. We had winds that were over 72 miles per hour. And that was caused by El Nino. Also, in I think it's Fiji, you know that island from Fiji? It's the most popular island ever. They got hit by a hurricane that was called Winston. And Winston was a Category 5 hurricane. The first Category 5 hurricane to ever hit Fiji. At least 35 people died because of the debris. It was so terrible. The island was completely flooded. It was extremely flooded because it was so extremely bad. The hurricane was very powerful. And the El Nino brought parties of storms that hit on New York City at parts, because I remember during the time when I recorded the video of a strong gusty wind thunderstorm. We had thunderstorms and rain that was pouring down at times, and then with strong winds zipping around. It's an El Nino event that's actually happening. What I really noticed is that scientists are predicting that this El Nino could become a La Nina. And a La Nina is a Category 2 formation to a Category 5 formation of an El Nino, which means like it's more powerful, of more warm moisture that could bring more storms that are very violent. Like the hurricane, like Hurricane Winston. When Hurricane Winston hit Fiji, it was over for people. They had to do an emergency. They declared emergency. It was a very, very, very bad storm that ever hit Fiji. Not just only that, there was tornadoes. We had tornadoes from Florida, tornadoes in Akristan, Florida. The parts of Florida, they had severe tornadoes. It was an outbreak. At least 5 people died, and now it's a outbreak of more people that are having deaths because of this storm. It's really bad. Trust me, people. Mother Nature does not play. She does her job. If you get in her way from what she does and you take it as a game, she'll actually penalize you into misery, because she needs to do her job around the whole evolution of the earth. And when we had all that mixture of changing bodies of weather around the earth, we had lots of tornadoes. We had a tornado that hit in Louisiana. At least 40 people have been killed because it was I believe it's a F27 tornado, and that's actually like a size like this, basically. Now, if it was a F10, it would look like a monster like this. Like, basically like this. That's a F10. A F9 will look like this, still a monster. A F8 will look like this. A F7, F6, and a F5, 4, 3, and then a quarter, which is like this, a little twins. So we had a lot of severe weather due to an El Nino that's in the Pacific Ocean. So that's basically why we're having a lot of rainstorms with gusty winds. And then even though it's not like when Super Cold Front Nolan that actually hit on Valentine's Day, we had a windy, abnormal high pressure. And that's another thing that people wanted to know about an abnormal high pressure. Basically, an abnormal high pressure is when you have a feel that it's basically a low pressure. It's part of the Arctic cold air revolution of the ingredients. And they actually made a new little research for my Weather X45 company. new research that when we have an abnormal high pressure, it's like basically it's like a sky out storm. Basically, a polar vortex is a storm that brings a frigid cold, extremely cold, that fills with warm air around it, and all that frigid cold air sucks together like that. Like what's happening now. Super Cold Front Nolan is gone. Thank God. It didn't last for long. Thank God for Jesus for that. It sits there like a stone, basically. That's what a polar vortex does. It sits there like a stone in the North Pole. It sits there like that while the warm air blocks it, causing a little antidote that forms it like stuck. Now, sometimes we see polar when we have a typhoon, hurricane, jet stream hits the polar vortex, boom, the warm air starts to die off, the cold air starts dipping in, which causes extreme changes, like frigid cold temperatures, and then it gets warm and nice again. And then it gets rain, then we get snow, then we get 3 inches of snow, then we get rain. Like winter storm, when Winter Storm Olympia hit, we had snow, and then all that snow became gone because of the rain that came here, and temperatures rise up to 57 degrees. That's because there's an El Nino. Hope you guys like this video, and if you want more questions about why this and that happened, stay tuned, and peace out. And subscribe.